sorry, the number you have reached is not in service. Please check the number or try your call again. This is a recording.
Are you listening?
Hello there,
I'm Darius,
and I'm Sam.
and welcome to the Oxford Youth Podcast. This podcast is by young people, for young people, just to talk about the things that we care about.
We're here to give you a voice, whether that's the voice of your creativity, your professionalism, or just something that you're doing that you feel needs to be spoken about.
And if you want to get in touch and actually get on this podcast, you really can.
We don't bite. I mean, we promise.
And we promise. But the real question here is, are you listening?
I mean, are you listening?
Are you listening?
Are you listening?
Let's just get on into the podcast. Welcome back to the Black Lives Matter mini-series. There are some themes within this mini-series that may be upsetting to you. If it is triggering to you, themes of racism, bullying, and various other things, please we implore you to listen to another one of our podcasts that will be much more beneficial to you. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed the Black Lives Matter mini-series. Let's get into it right now.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
So Steve, we're gonna wrap up a little bit. One of my final questions to you is, when you hear the phrase Black Lives Matter, what does that mean to you?
What it means to me. I think what Black Lives Matter means to me is that for a very long time, Black people have been targeted, been enslaved, and been victims, right? For things that may or may not have been their fault. And I think that it's not only Black people that have been targeted, but what I'm saying is that now it's been brought to light, and now we are taking care of the issue, which is not to say that white people do not matter, that Spanish people do not matter, that, any other race doesn't matter, because they do.
Yep.
And this is where people don't understand. We're saying Black Lives Matter because it's a movement that is happening right now. The same way that if there was another movement happening right now, and, personally, I don't think a Black Lives Matter protest would have happened if I think the George Floyd kicked it off and people just lost it completely, right? So because of that incident there, it's people can see it. Because of that incident right there, you can see why people are now frustrated and saying this has to stop because Black lives do matter. If it was a white person that had been killed, we probably wouldn't be doing Black Lives Matter at this stage. We would probably be focusing, we would say, look, this is not right. You cannot be killing white people. It's the same thing. We're just telling you that this current situation needs to be stopped. And Black lives, people that are saying all lives matter are just ignorant and they don't understand. No one said all lives do not matter. So that's what does it mean to you?
It means, everything that you just said, but it also means hopefully a brighter future for, my future children and stuff, because it's with saying that, it's such an outcry. It's not something that we're saying lightly. It's not something that we're just like, oh yeah, guys, Black Lives Matter, just so you know. It's like a proper outcry, and we wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't necessary for it to be said. And my hope when I'm saying it is that one day, with my children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, there'll be a time when they'll be able to walk into a place where, they won't be followed round a shop for no reason, just for, their darker complexion. I would like to think that we will have made enough progression in that time that, my grandchildren will be able to, live in a place where police brutality, if it's still happening, I'm hoping it's not, but if it is still happening, that the accountability for it and the justice for it is seen a lot quicker, instead of it being one person gets arrested and everyone else, gets fired, and we're all sat here but they murdered someone. That doesn't make sense. So I feel like it means a lot, and it's a lot about legacy in a way, because it's one day when children are born and everything, because I've been having these conversations with my parents as well, as excited as I am to like one day have a family and have kids and everything, I'm also like really nervous because bringing like a black boy or a black girl into this world is proper scary, because it's like as soon as they're born, they're a target,
Yeah.
which is quite unnerving. But I would love to get to a place where it's like they're born and they're just like every other child, like they're loved and, you know, cared for by society and everything. So yeah, it just means a lot, really.
I got one more question for you.
Yep.
So there's a pub that is located in the UK, and it's called the Black Boy. I think
Yeah, I've
it's,
heard of that. Yeah.
yeah. What's your, like I said, I have mixed feelings on that topic also, but apparently there was like, I think, petitions to say to take it down or to change the name. What's your take on that and why?
Um. Okay. So I feel like pubs are things that can be changed, and you know, if there is enough kind of view for something to be changed, then fine. Um, if there's, I don't know, if for example, I don't know, I've never been to the pub, but if like throughout what they're doing, they are honoring,
Mm,
like, you know, I guess like the black experience and stuff, then cool. Like I personally wouldn't see that much of an issue with it. I just guess it depends on how it's portrayed, because obviously if it's like the black boy in like a really negative context, then yes, I understand why people would have issues with it. But if it's like, you know, the black boy in like a really positive context, then fine. Like I don't see that issue with it. But I think there are deeper or more pressing issues than the name of a pub.
yes, yes, I feel you. And yeah, that's cool. Sorry, I said that was the last question, but just literally remember something, right? I know it's going on, but a friend and I were speaking one time, and he brought something up that really brought to my attention. That I was thinking, that's mixed emotions again. But I want to hear your take on it. So you know, like the BET Awards or the ceremonies, the awards,
Yeah,
all of those sort of awards in America. So you know how they have like best black actor, best black singer,
yeah.
or whatever they have. Do you think that by doing that, it's actually hurting the situation? And because if you're giving, if you have to now give an award to only a black best actor, do you think that that might make the white man, the white woman feel like, that's not fair? Why isn't there a white best white singer or this and that? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So like, how what's your take on that? Do you think that having a best black singer award is a good idea or a bad idea, and why?
Okay.
That was the last question. Yeah.
I am the same with you, because I have mixed emotions about award shows, full stop. I was
Yeah.
having this conversation with a friend of mine recently. Um, I'm going to start this by saying I would love all award shows, every single kind of award show, to get to a point where you're not kind of like limited by race and stuff. It's just you're awarded for being amazing, like
Yeah.
regardless. But I think we are still in a time where we're very much still in Oscars So White season. So in order for us to in some way be represented, or for us in some way to be kind of like lifted up, I think it's still important for our own people, as it were, to still lift each other up, but still have like those integrated ceremonies as well, because I think they're all important. Like I love the BET Awards and everything like that. I find them extremely fascinating. But then I remember there was an argument with the Mobo Awards. There was this argument that there was a good like long run of like loads of black people winning awards and everything. And there was this one year where Ed Sheeran won an award, and there was this outrage like, oh my goodness, why is Ed Sheeran winning? He ain't black. But Mobo stands for music of black origin. It doesn't stand for Black People Award. So
Yeah.
because so much music that we listen to today comes from Black origin, it's fine. It is, in that respect, it's completely fine for him to win because it's his inspirations and everything that he puts into his music has come from Black origin. So I feel like in some respect, yes, we should still have like those ones just in the same way that, you know, in your family households, you have like, you know, times where you like big up each other, but you're not bigging up every single one else outside of your family. So I think it's like, you still need to have that, but in the same respect, we all, every single one of us, like the Oscars, Brits, all of it, we all need to be more inclusive, because if we're not, then we are all shutting each other out, and then we are all kind of just there like, yep, nope, this is my thing, you can't come in, this is our club, like stay away. So I think there's like so much more to it, but I feel like when we get to a place where we can, you know, like have those conversations, like really have those conversations, like, you know, the big men and women up in those boardrooms can have those conversations and sit down, that's when we'll start to see those changes. Because at the moment, you'll look at most award show lineups and people who are being nominated, and for like, you know, the pop awards, it'll all be majority white people, and then you'll have like the urban category, which basically is just like, you know, Black people, then it'll be all of the Black people in that category. Whereas, you know, you'd come to like the BET Awards, and then there'd be like, you know, popular song by a Black artist, which is, again, it's doing the exact same thing that, you know, the Billboard Awards or any of them are doing, but it's just, you know, uplifting Black people in the same way that the Latin Grammys uplift, you know, people from Latin American heritage. So I don't think we should necessarily stop them. I just think there are things within them that need to be addressed. And I think the ones that are of bigger profile are the ones that need to kind of look within their systems and be like, oh, wait, maybe if our boards were more diverse, then we could address the issue of why all of these other award shows need to keep happening. I think that will be like a way of addressing it.
Well said, well said, well said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my final question for you, I mean, this one is a biggie because it you know, you could say anything really. If you were in charge, how would you seek justice for all of the atrocities that have happened over the last 400 plus years? That's why I said it's a big question, because like there are so many things you could do. But like, how would you, you know, seek justice for that?
That is a big question for someone who is I'm not the most knowledgeable person, that's for sure. You know, I don't know too much on the whole topic. Yeah, maybe I should know a lot more, but you know, I'm not the one to make that decision. But I could say a few words. We could begin by, first of all, shutting down the actions and preventing those same actions to reoccur. For example, someone that's been mistreated on their color, and someone that let's take George Floyd, for example, right?
Yeah.
So we should not have to go through a sort of what's it called? Like there's like first degree, second degree,
yeah,
what is that? Right?
Like, yeah.
They had to charge him of some sort of 1 degree, 2 degree, or whatever.
Yeah.
That was clear murder. So that was not something to be questioned, right? Like people still wanted to question that, which is out of this world, to try and question and to try and say that it was not, a technique, or he didn't intend. Like, please don't give me that. Look, everyone saw it. We wouldn't be outraged if it wasn't a big deal. So first of all, we should train these men to be, you know, well educated in how to conduct an arrest. There was no resisting. So first of all, let's sort that out. So for each station, each chief, the person in charge of the station department in that area, they first need to understand that their men, each and every single one of their men, needs to know how to conduct an arrest and how to treat each person with equality. And if that's not shown, then they need to be fired. And I said one thing to my friend, and he'd be a good person to have on your podcast. Actually, I said one thing to him, but he responded in a pretty clever way as well. It was that my opinion was, why not have every officer has to roll with someone of, like, you can't have 4 white officers. You shouldn't have 4 white officers to go and deal with a black male's situation or a black female situation. I think that you should definitely have at least 1 black, at least 1 mixed and Spanish, at least 1 white, so that when all officers get there, regardless of how one officer feels, there will be 3 others there to say, hey, yo, look, he's not resisting.
Yeah.
Do not do that. He said he can't breathe, so lift your knee. So, you know, at that scene, it was only whites. It was was there a black person there? I can't.
There was an Asian man, and I feel like I don't know if he was mixed, but I don't know. I don't quote me on it, but there was some color there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe maybe it's not even a thing of color. Maybe it's just literally, like I said, a thing of educating. Before you give someone a gun, before you give someone a badge, before you give someone authority over you, although the police is not there to have authority over you, they're there to actually serve and protect you.
Yeah.
The police department actually work for you. So the fact that we had to fear them is very shaken, and, like, you know. So that's what I think about that, is that we should first definitely have the right procedures taken, and
Definitely.
yeah. How about you?
Oh, I think, I agree with everything that you just said, and I think the first thing I would do is to do with education. So education on all levels. So from school all the way up to like your university or apprenticeships or anything like that. Even in the workplace, because there are people who, as you said earlier, who are ignorant. They're not necessarily intentionally racist. They've just grown up with these views and have never been told anything different. And when you get to teach someone at a young age that this is wrong, you can't do this, that this will offend someone, that is, probably a bit more helpful than, like now just saying, you're racist, you're this, you're that. It's like, wait, hold up. Like, I mean, yes, what they have done, yes, it probably is, but it's deeper than just that, because they have never been taught anything different other than just being that way. And unfortunately, that's the reason why we have someone like Trump in the White House, because no one has ever like stopped him along the way and been like, hold up, what you're doing ain't right. Like, no one's done that. Or people who have, he's just been like, nah, your opinion doesn't matter to me. Your opinion doesn't matter to me, because he's grown up in such a way where, no, like, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, no. Listen and take accountability. I think it's a lot to do with education, because education has a big impact on, how people are taught how to be police officers, or how people are taught to address, Black women when they come in for, maternal services and stuff, instead of like just palming them off if they've got an issue and saying like, oh no, you're a strong Black woman, you can stand the pain. It's like, no, she has an issue, please check it out. Like, don't just dismiss it. And I think once that education is in place, I think that's where we'll come to, like a better place. And that's why I'm extremely grateful that this platform for this podcast has been given, because this will be like a place for hopefully people to be educated, for people to hear voices that they may not always hear in their everyday life, and actually like hear something like, oh, okay, so maybe I can take that and learn from this, and like address this in my family or in my friendship group. And I think once we start having those kinds of conversations, like little by little, I think things will change.
Yeah, that's true. Because the problem, there's a big problem that there are like, I don't know where it is, but there are places in this world where there's whole cities or whole communities where it's just full of people that don't agree with Black Lives Matter, which is very scary, because there's an entire city, an entire community of people that, not one person, an entire community that think that way. So that's why it's very difficult to, you know, even if we convert 1 million people and into believing, yes, Black people do, you know, Black Lives Matter and racism needs to be completely wiped off, it's still going to be places in this world where a whole bunch of people, where all they see and all they do is, you know, rip off Black people or talk negatively about them. And it's only going to change when people start going to those areas and showing them and actually helping them. It's funny though, because if a Black man was to if a Black successful man was to go to one of these communities or one of these neighborhoods and change their lives, would they then think differently? Would they then appreciate them? But it's annoying that if that is the case, why is it that it takes that suggestion, that gesture for them to change? You know, it's sad. It applies to everything in life, right? It's people only respect you when you're successful. When you're a nobody, they don't really care. But when that nobody becomes a millionaire, oh, now he's important. oh wait, you remember that time? Oh yeah. So that's what I think. It's the same thing, right? Like no matter what you do, people are only gonna start respecting you when you're somebody, when you have money, when you have a big voice, or when you're highly respected by, you know, other people. But when you're nobody, people are just gonna walk over you and they're not gonna really listen to what you say. So me and you right now, this conversation, it may not change or affect 1 million people.
Exactly.
It might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a smaller scale. But if we ever, you know, get to a place of where we're in a position to have a bigger voice, then bigger people, bigger voice.
Definitely.
Yeah,
thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me, Steve. Make sure every single one of you, like I want to see that Cavoli London has sold out again. Like that's what I want to be hearing. Make sure you go and check them out. Like make sure you go and check out Content Designer. Just check all of the links, every single one. There'll be linked somewhere. And also, if you are having any issues with your mental health due to anything that's happened recently, there are some links below that you can check out to help you with your mental health as well, because we do realize that this has been quite a stressful time for quite a lot of people. But Steve, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to me. But yes, on the next episode, we will be speaking to Sasha. See you very soon, guys. Bye.
Take care.